Welcome to Zoe Stories. Caught wearing panties. Now I'm living like a girl. My name is Ryan Mitchell, and I'm 24 years old. On paper, I'm just your average guy, tech support by day, gamer by night, introverted, quiet, and a little too good at blending into the background. I live in a small but cozy one-bedroom apartment in a sleepy suburban neighborhood just outside of Portland. It's the kind of place where nobody really asks questions, and I've always liked it that way. But there's a secret I've kept tucked away behind that quiet facade. One I've never had the courage to speak out loud. One I've protected with a kind of desperation usually reserved for criminals hiding evidence. I crossdress. Not as a joke. Not as a dare.
Not because someone asked me to.
I do it because, when I slip into a pair of lace panties, when I feel the fabric hug my skin in a way that jeans and boxers never could, something in me softens. The noise in my head quiets. I feel real. Present. Like for once in my life, I'm not pretending. It started with a pair of pink satin panties I found in the laundry room. Left behind by mistake after my then roommate's girlfriend did a load. I was 19. I don't know what possessed me, but I touched them, held them, then tried them on. And that was it. I was hooked. Since then, I've secretly collected a small wardrobe of women's clothes, hidden behind boxes in the back of my closet, beneath piles of old tech junk. I have 3 bras, 4 pairs of panties, a plaid pleated skirt I bought online using a prepaid card, 2 camisoles, and a dusty blonde wig that makes me feel like someone new. I've even gotten decent at makeup thanks to YouTube tutorials, though I've only dared to try it late at night, always washing it off before sunrise. None of my friends know. Especially not my girlfriend, Emma. Emma is gorgeous in a way that makes you feel like you're dreaming. Wavy auburn hair that she always ties into a messy bun, hazel eyes that look like they know more than you're saying, and a smile that feels like a reward every time you earn it. She's smart, funny, driven. A 3rd-grade teacher who genuinely cares about her students. We've been dating for just under a year. We moved in together 2 months ago, and ever since, I've had to lock away a part of myself. Our apartment isn't big enough for secrets, and I've already had 2 close calls just trying to keep my stash hidden. The thing is, Emma has always been pretty vocal about her views on gender and masculinity. She's not rigid or anything, but she definitely leans traditional. I like a man to be a man, she once told me while we were watching a rom-com. Not one of those soft boys who wear nail polish and cry at every sunset. She'd laughed after she said it, but I never forgot. And that's what terrifies me. Because I'm not just some guy with a kink. This might be a part of me I can't ignore anymore. It's more than the thrill. It's more than curiosity. It's identity. Maybe not fully, maybe not forever, but it's something I want to understand. But how can I do that when the person I love most might walk out the second she sees me in lipstick? So I keep it hidden. We have a routine. Emma leaves early every morning for school, and I work remotely. That means I'm home alone until about 3:30 p.m. every weekday. Just enough time to slip into something soft, practice my eyeliner, maybe take a few mirror selfies before scrubbing away any trace of the girl I wish I could be. I tell myself I'll stop, that it's just temporary, that I'm just going through a phase. But I don't believe that anymore. This morning, Emma kissed me goodbye and headed off with a coffee in one hand and her tote bag slung over the other shoulder. I watched her go, heart thumping. Not because I missed her, but because I knew what came next. The moment the door clicked shut, I locked it, bolted to the closet, and pulled out my stash like it was contraband. The panties were sky blue today, silky, delicate, with a tiny bow at the front. I picked them over the others without thinking. They just felt right. I stepped into them slowly, savoring the moment. Then the bra. Then the cami. Then the skirt. Each layer felt like a sigh of relief. Like I was peeling away the layers of someone else and finally stepping into me. I brushed out the wig, settled it over my head, and stared at my reflection in the mirror. There she was. She didn't have a name yet. Not really. But she looked back at me with quiet confidence.
Softer. Happier. Real.
I had no idea that today, of all days, everything would change. And not because I wanted it to, but because I'd get caught. The moment Emma left, The silence in the apartment wrapped around me like a glove. Tight, quiet, dangerous. I sat there, motionless on the couch, her words echoing in my head. "I'll be back late, love you." It was my opportunity, rare, sacred, terrifying. I stood, palms damp with anticipation, and walked toward the bedroom. My heart thudded like a guilty drumbeat with every step. There, in the back of Emma's closet, beneath a stack of folded sweaters, was the shoebox I had carefully repacked each time. I hesitated. My fingers brushed the lid. I wasn't sure when it started. Maybe it was the texture, the color, the way silk felt against skin. But I knew I hadn't expected it to go this far. It wasn't just about lingerie anymore. It was about the version of me I could only be when no one was looking, softer, freer, someone who didn't have to apologize for not being a man. I opened the box. Emma's lavender panties sat at the top, a matching bra tucked underneath. I touched the fabric gently, as if it were sacred. And, in a way, it was. I carried them to the mirror. My hands trembled as I stripped down and stepped into the panties, pulling them up slowly, feeling them hug my waist. My breath hitched. The bra came next, awkwardly hooked, but somehow right. I stood there staring at myself, heart hammering, cheeks flushed. Why did it feel so good? Why did it feel so wrong? I knew I should have stopped there. I could have just worn the lingerie and curled up under a blanket. But the girl in the mirror deserved more. She wanted to be seen, even if only by me. I opened Emma's side of the wardrobe. Her floral sundress. The peach one with the plunging neckline and the soft ruffled hem. I had watched her wear it on a picnic once. She looked beautiful. I slipped it on. It clung gently to my frame, too tight in the shoulders, a bit too roomy in the hips. But when I turned sideways, my breath caught. She was there. That girl in the mirror. The girl I'd hidden for so long. The one I didn't dare name. I ran my fingers along the hem and smiled. For a moment, I didn't feel shame or fear. I felt alive. But then I heard it. A buzz. My phone lit up on the bed. Emma. Meeting ended early. Heading home now. Red heart. Panic clamped around my chest like a vice. I yanked open the closet. The shoebox teetered on the shelf and spilled. Lipstick, heels, hairband.
No. No. Not now.
I tried to stuff it all back, but my hands were shaking. I glanced at the clock. 22 minutes. That's all I had. I rushed into the bathroom and scrubbed off the bit of blush I'd dared to try. My skin was red from the panic, my collarbone slick with sweat. The dress caught as I tried to pull it over my head.
The zipper jammed.
"Come on," I whispered, tugging harder. A knock. I froze.
No.
It's too early. She can't be here yet. Another knock. Not the front door. The neighbor's door. My stomach flipped. I darted back into the bedroom. The shoebox still sat open. The panties were tangled in the bra strap. I grabbed the sundress off the floor and tried to fold it neatly, but it was wrinkled. Too wrinkled. She'd notice. The knock again. Then footsteps. I cracked the door and peeked into the hallway. Mrs. Levin from 3B was walking away, holding a Tupperware. Just a neighbor. Harmless. My body sagged in relief. But then I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. Panties still on. Bra crooked. Lip gloss still there, faint, but shimmering under the hallway light. I rushed back inside, locked the door, and threw myself into cleanup mode. Clothes hidden. Makeup wiped. Hair flattened. Bra and panties shoved back into the box. Shoebox shoved into the closet. I barely had time to throw on my hoodie and joggers before I heard the key turning in the lock. Emma stepped in, smiling. "I brought sushi," she said, kicking her shoes off. "Hope you're hungry." I swallowed hard. My heart was still racing. I am, I stammered, trying to smile. "You're early."
She grinned.
Meeting ended ahead of schedule. Boss wanted to make up for last week. I nodded, but my mind wasn't on sushi. It was on the mirror, on the sundress, on how fast I'd nearly been caught, on how part of me almost wanted to be. That night, I couldn't sleep. Emma lay beside me, curled into my chest, peaceful. And I stared at the ceiling, thoughts spinning. I felt exposed, like I'd left fingerprints on a secret no one should find. I kept seeing the reflection of that girl. The way she tilted her head, smiled nervously, tugged the hem of the dress like she wasn't sure if she belonged. And I felt her, still inside me. I told myself I wouldn't do it again. But the pull was unbearable. When Emma went to the gym, I waited until I was sure she was out of the building. Then I returned to the closet. But this time, I took it further. I chose a different dress. One I hadn't dared try before. Tight, black, short. Paired it with sheer tights. A padded bra.
Wig.
Makeup. I watched YouTube tutorials, hands trembling as I tried eyeliner. It was clumsy. But when I finished and stepped back, she was more real than ever before. I walked through the apartment in heels. Wobbly. Ridiculous. But powerful. I took selfies, just to remember. Just to prove she'd been here. But then I heard the ding of the apartment door unlocking. I wasn't ready. Shoes off. Wig snatched. Lipstick smudged as I wiped my face with paper towels. I shoved everything under the bed and pulled on Emma's bathrobe. It was the first thing I saw. "Hey babe," Emma said as she walked in. I panicked. "Forgot to shower after the run?" I said. I was just about to. She tilted her head. "Is that my robe?" My mouth went dry. "Laundry," I said. "Mine's in the wash." She didn't respond right away. Just looked at me. Her eyes lingered too long. Then she smiled, softly unreadable. "Okay," she said. I held my breath until she left the room. I sat on the bed after she was gone, robe still clinging to me. I stared at the floor, hard in my throat. How long could I keep this up?
How long did I want to?
That night, I dreamed I was her. The girl in the dress. Hair brushed, heels clicking, smiling without fear. And when I woke up, my pillow was damp.
Tears.
I didn't know if I was mourning the lie I lived, or the truth I was terrified to face. Emma stirred beside me, kissed my cheek. "You okay?" she whispered. I nodded. "Just a dream." She smiled and closed her eyes again. But I lay there, heart twisting. Because maybe I didn't want to be just her boyfriend anymore. Maybe I wanted to be the girl in the mirror. I sat on the floor in the dark, dressed in nothing but a t-shirt and boxers, the shoebox of secrets beside me. My entire chest ached. I kept hearing the sound of her voice, disbelief, confusion, pain. I had hurt her. Was it selfish? Was I broken? The next day, Emma didn't come home. Or the day after. She sent a text, "I'm staying with my sister. I need to think." I didn't blame her. But being alone with my thoughts was worse. I didn't dress up. I didn't touch the box. I barely ate. I just sat in that silence, waiting for something to make sense again. Then, 2 nights later, my phone buzzed. "Emma, I want to talk. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. I'll come by." I barely slept. When Emma arrived, she was calm, distant. She looked around the apartment like it was unfamiliar now. Maybe it was. We sat across from each other. No hugs. No smiles. "I talked to someone," she said. "My therapist. And I've been thinking." I waited. "I'm not angry you wore my things," she said. "I'm not even angry you kept it from me. I'm hurt you didn't feel safe telling me." Tears stung my eyes. I was scared. "I thought you'd hate me." She leaned forward. "Do you want to be a girl?" I blinked. I don't know.
Maybe not all the time.
But when I dress up, I feel more honest. More me. She nodded slowly. Then she opened her bag and pulled out a dress, one I'd admired but never dared touch. "I want to understand," she said. "If you'll let me." My breath caught. "What do you mean?" "I want to meet her," she said. "The girl in the mirror. No more secrets." I stood in front of the mirror, Emma behind me, guiding me through the process. She helped me put on the dress, soft blue, snug in all the right places. She adjusted the wig I'd been too afraid to wear for weeks. She did my makeup, gently brushing powder on my cheeks, fixing my lashes, lining my lips. And for the first time, it wasn't a lie. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't shameful. I looked in the mirror and She smiled back at me. Confident. Nervous. Real. Emma stood beside me, arms crossed. You're beautiful, she whispered. I nearly cried. Emma helped me take photos. She asked what name I'd give her. This version of me. I hesitated. Claire, I said finally. Claire, she repeated. Nice to meet you. We laughed. We cried. Then Emma grew serious. People will judge. You know that, right? I nodded. And you still want this? I looked back at the mirror. Yes. And that's when I knew there was no going back. Not to pretending. Not to hiding. Claire wasn't just a part of me anymore. She was me. And now the world was starting to see her. The first time I stepped outside as Claire, I thought my heart might burst. Emma was beside me, holding my hand. We weren't going anywhere special, just the grocery store, but to me, it felt like stepping into a new world. My heels clicked on the pavement, and every glance felt like a spotlight. Were they staring? Could they tell? Emma squeezed my hand. You're okay. Breathe. I nodded, trying not to crumble under the weight of self-consciousness. But every step I took as Claire made it a little easier. A little freer. Like I was walking into the life I'd been holding back for years. Still, nothing about it was simple. Some people were kind. The woman at the register smiled and complimented my hair. An older man gave me a look I couldn't decipher and moved to another line. Emma was fiercely protective. When a teenage boy whispered something and laughed behind me, she stepped between us like a wall. Keep walking, she told me. He's not worth it. But it stung. No matter how good I looked, no matter how confident I tried to be, I felt exposed. Vulnerable. Like Claire was always being judged. I tried to hide how much it affected me. Emma saw through it. I couldn't avoid it forever. My mom called while I was still trying to summon the courage. Are you coming for dinner next Sunday? I hesitated. Yeah, but I need to tell you something first. The silence on the lines stretched forever. I've been going through something.
A change.
I need you to keep an open mind. She sounded cautious. Are you okay?
Yes.
I think I'm finally becoming who I really am. That dinner was the most terrifying night of my life. I showed up as Claire. Subtle makeup, a soft blouse, jeans. Nothing wild. But I still saw my mom's eyes widen. My dad's expression froze. No one spoke for a moment. Then Mom blinked and said, Well, you look nice, sweetheart. And just like that, I could breathe. Emma and I tried to keep our relationship steady, but things weren't perfect. She loved me. She said it all the time, but I could feel the shift. Sometimes when we kissed, she'd pause like she was trying to remind herself of who I used to be. We argued one night after I wore a short dress to her friend's engagement party. Do you have to go full glam for everything? She asked. I thought I looked good. You do, but people stare. Is that what bothers you? Or is it me? Her eyes filled with tears. I don't know. I'm trying. But this isn't easy for me either. We sat on the couch in silence for a long time. She rested her head on my shoulder. I don't want to lose you, but I don't know what we are now. And I didn't know either. I spent more and more time alone, reading forums, watching tutorials, journaling, exploring Claire's world not as an escape, but as a reality. I experimented with fashion, casual, girly, edgy. I got better at makeup. I started following trans creators online. I realized this was more than crossdressing. It was gender, identity, self, and it terrified me. What if I went too far and lost Emma forever? What if I stopped halfway and hated myself again? But for the first time in my life, I was asking real questions. And slowly, painfully, I started to find real answers. One night, Emma surprised me. She came home with a gift, an envelope. It's not much, she said, but I want to support you. Inside was a gift card to a local boutique. For Claire, she said softly. I cried. She hugged me. I don't know where we're headed, but I want to see where this goes. I held her tight, overwhelmed by love and fear and gratitude. Me too. I stood in front of the full-length mirror, the early morning light casting soft shadows across the floor. My reflection stared back. No longer a costume, no longer a performance.
Claire.
I touched my cheek, now so familiar with the sweep of foundation. The soft curve of my jaw framed by waves of chestnut hair. The outline of my body shaped by clothes chosen with care, not shame. There was no longer fear in my reflection, only a quiet strength. It had taken months. Emma and I were still figuring things out one step at a time. We weren't the same people anymore, but maybe that was okay. Maybe we were growing into something new. She came into the room behind me, brushing her teeth, wearing one of my old hoodies. "You look good," she said around her toothbrush. "You always say that." "Because it's always true." I smiled. Later that day, I walked downtown, just Claire alone. Past the park, past the corner cafe, where I used to meet Emma back when I was pretending to be someone else. Now, I walked with my head up. People passed. Some looked. Most didn't. I wasn't invisible anymore. But I wasn't hiding either. A little girl stared at me from a bench. Her mom glanced up and gave me a smile. That simple gesture, the kind that didn't ask questions, didn't judge, meant more than words. I walked into the boutique Emma had taken me to and picked out a floral dress I'd been dreaming about for weeks. As I held it against myself, the saleswoman nodded. "Looks like you found the one." "I think I have," I said. At home, I tried on the dress. It fit like it was made for me. I turned in front of the mirror, watching the fabric flow with my movements. I wasn't dressing up for anyone. Not hiding. Not waiting to be caught. I was living. And for the first time in my life, I was exactly where I was meant to be. I posted a photo online. Just a simple selfie. No filter. No apology. The caption read, "I used to be afraid of mirrors. Now I look at one and see me. This is Claire. This is freedom." The comments rolled in. Some were kind. Some were cruel. But I didn't delete a single one. Because this was my truth now. And truth doesn't need permission.